Hey friends, today we're looking at a set that's been heavily influenced by the spaceship that is owned by Luthen in the TV show Andor, part of the Star Wars series. And in this video, we're going to look at all the play features. It's got quite a few. We'll take a look at the box, the instructions, and I'll tell you how to get this set. The set is actually unbranded. Let's start off by asking Google a little bit about this ship so we have a bit of background.
The ship you're asking about is the FONDOR HAULCRAFT, famously piloted by Luthen in the Star Wars series Andor. While the name Haulcraft suggests a standard, unassuming transport, often compared to a spacefaring panel van, Luthen's ship is a highly modified, custom-built vessel. It's known for being an essential tool for his espionage work, featuring advanced hidden weaponry, powerful engines that can withstand immense stress, and an AI co-pilot system he calls Mod. Its exterior is designed to be unremarkable to help it blend in, which makes it the perfect cue ship for a spy master to navigate the galaxy undetected.
This set has an instruction manual. It's their set number MG20013 with 1,730 pieces. Pretty standard instructions. They're paced pretty good, and I will tell you a little bit more about the build process later on in the video. It wasn't great, so I'll tell you that, but we got it done. And then here is a figure for scale, right? So it is play scale, minifigure scale, and it's compatible with the minifigures that you want to add to it. There is a cockpit. There's an actual interior, right? So let's open up the interior, and you can actually prop this up like that, and it gives you access to the interior. And we'll zoom in. We'll take a closer look in just a second. It has wings that open up and deploy. So based on what I've seen online, there are different flight modes for these wings. So when it's in space, my understanding is it's supposed to be like straight out. The straighter, the better when it's in space, like that. And then when it's in atmosphere, you pull it in just a bit. And all of this moves quite a bit, which I really like that. So maybe more like that for atmosphere. And then when it's parked, you tuck them all the way in. This is the position that you see used when he deploys these giant lasers that come out of the sides. So those lasers are right here, and they pull out from either side like that. And we have them on both sides, so like that. So you may remember a scene where he takes out two TIE fighters using these giant lasers, and that's what you've got. And he does this corkscrew maneuver in order to get them. So they actually included those lasers in here, which is phenomenal. They're not quite to scale, right? They probably should be like 2 or 3 times the length, but it's impressive that they added them. Pushing them back in can be a little bit of a challenge. They do tend to get hung up a little bit, but if you're careful, you do a little bit of wiggling, you can get them back in. In the TV show, this turret at the top, it's hidden and it deploys as needed. And also there are bolt shooters in the wings here. So these are spring-loaded shooters, and there is a compartment right here where they are stored. So on either side of these, you can lift up and find the spring-loaded shooters. Just pull them out right like that. There we go, like that. And then, oh, it got hung up. So looks like it's getting hung up on that piece right there, but maybe that can be modified. So you just stick it out just slightly more, and then you'll be able to shoot them. So unfortunately, they're getting kind of caught up in my test right now. Another hidden thing that you've got is in this back area right here. In the TV show, you'll see that these open up, and it deploys chaff that he uses to destroy the tractor beam dish. And so here you open this up, and you've got this bank of stud shooters, 6 of them, that you can use to deploy chaff, which is kind of cool. And there is a storage compartment in here that's fairly deep, which is great because he is kind of a smuggler, is doing espionage, he's doing all kinds of stuff, so it's great to have more storage. This ship does come with a hover bike. So it comes with a speeder bike that you see in one of the early episodes of Andor. It can almost fit in here, but I've put it in the main cockpit, and we'll take a look at that. So those are some of the hidden features, pretty cool. And you've got thrusters here and here. And you've also got thruster, a really nicely done thruster here. And look at this, they have you put a couple of these tiles, and it's, I guess it would be considered an illegal connection technique because I've sandwiched them between some studs, and that's what's holding those two tiles in place. On the underside, we'll look at that. It's fairly plain shaping, but it does have skid pads for landing, and these ones just fit, they stick straight out, which I thought was interesting. And there is no like a boarding ramp. I thought maybe that they would have one, but not really. Closest thing to it maybe is you can fold this piece down like that, but it doesn't quite work in practicality because it ends up going further down than the landing gear. But that's kind of cool that they have thought about that. Let's take a closer look at the exterior gribbling. I did appreciate there's just so much gribbling that they've had in the shaping here. If you look here, there's all these little bits and bobs that are sticking out that are here, which are really terrific. Great use of these turntable pieces, an antenna piece, just different things to just add that texture. There was one thing that I wish was a little tighter, and it's this one here. It's a little bit loose because my particular plate, one of the plates I had, it was a little bit twisted, and so it kind of hangs slightly lower than I wish it did, but it's fine. Additional gribbling along the hull, and this is very faithful to what you would see in a Star Wars set from Lego. They would do very similar type of gribbling along here. So this is somebody, whoever designed this has studied what Lego has done for the Star Wars series, which I appreciate. And then of course got this rear area. The shaping and underside for the wings, kind of not that good looking, but you're not really seeing it that often anyway, so that's okay. I do like that they built up the thrusters here, and they're on both sides of this wing. And by the way, these wings do have additional little bit of articulation, and I don't know if it's supposed to be articulated, but you can move this couple degrees, but I don't know if that's intentional. I think they're supposed to stay in a specific orientation as far as these two pieces go. All right, now let's zoom in, take a closer look at the interior. Okay, so with the cockpit removed and then this top hull portion lifted up on its prop, we can see a couple things. One is we see the speeder bike, and this is where I chose to put it. The instructions don't tell you where to put it, so I thought maybe this would be a spot for it, but it doesn't really fit. Let's take that out. We'll take a look at it too. So here's the speeder bike. Some cool little shaping here, little front area, orange thruster back there. Enough room for one person. Does it fit a minifigure? Not really. Like here's a minifigure. It doesn't really have a spot for the minifigure, which is too bad. But it is cool that it's included, so you can just kind of enjoy having one. And inside, let's zoom in a little bit. We have a one of those chess tables, and we have a lounge area and seating area, which I like. What I've read about this ship is it's supposed to have quite a few interior modifications, as well as all those weapons that you saw. So the interior has been kind of done up a little bit with more luxury. This is where Luthen stores his hidden disguise. They say about the ship is a symbol of Luthen and his dual role, right? So he's one way to some people and he's another to other people, but his hidden alter ego is the antiquities dealer. So this is that wig, and that's the wig in the area where it's just sort of is a homage to his double life. Now, when I was building this, I had to add this piece right here that you see. And the reason I added that piece was because these two little white drawers, they kept slipping out. There is not enough friction in those two drawers. So they just, with gravity, they'll fall out like that. See, they just slip right out. And you do have two ingots that you get to put in one of them, the bottom drawer. But I do wish that the pieces were a little bit better. And I don't think that's the designer's fault. That's probably where they source those bricks. They just don't happen to fit very well. So I just, out of some of the spare parts from this particular set, I added and made that little piece to kind of keep the drawers closed. And then coming around to the front here, you'll see that there is a seat for the cockpit, and there is there's controls there, and there is a printed piece for this. Let's see if we can pull it out and get a better look. Kind of neat printed piece there. Every decoration in here is printed. So there's that one, and I want to say there's a control panel one other spot too, but I don't really remember where it went now that I think about it. There was one other control panel. We'll see, we'll find it. And then of course this chessboard is printed too. And then let's put a figure in the cockpit. Okay. So these are the pieces of the canopy that I removed, and they're meant to stay together, but they don't stay together very well. So it's a little fiddly to get it put back in place. It's held in place right here by these two studs that connect to that right there. So placing it in back can be a little tricky, but you just press it down right there, and then boom, everything is in place. And then lifting it, it always breaks right there. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. It has a hidden compartment. So this right here is a hidden compartment on a hinge. You lift that up and it opens up. And inside there is a container canister with a couple of 1x1 tiles. And I don't know what those could be. Immediately I thought, oh, those should have been thermal detonators. That would have been cool. So you could do that, or you could put weapons, you could put other things in the under the floor there. That would be cool. I do like this detail right here. Those are kind of the edge padding that you see in the hallways of the Millennium Falcon. So that brings a little bit of Star Wars into it too. I like that a lot. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the build. With the instructions, they were pretty straightforward. You know, they're pretty much what you would expect. A lot of really good design techniques in here that make it super duper strong. So for example, if you've built any of the starships from Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, you'll recognize this technique, which is you build a lot of plates or construction on the bottom that has a Technic beam, and then up at the top there's another Technic beam, and it sandwiches everything together. And then to lock it in place, you use these like 1x7 lift arms, and then boom, that sandwiches everything in place, and it's locked in place for forever. It's really well done. And then there are other techniques used for the panels that you see, especially these bottom panels, and they are not bad. They hold in place pretty good, and I liked that they're fairly sturdy. I found that picking it up is not too bad, not too hard, so I appreciated that, and it worked out. Oh, that's where the other two printed pieces are. They're in the cockpit on the other side. That's why I didn't see them. I will say that in building it, the bags and the way that they prepared the bags are a hot mess. So I started out by opening up all the bag ones, which are something like, I don't know, there must have been like 8 bag ones. And it wasn't until I started going through them that I realized, man, so many pieces are missing. So I started looking through the bag 2s. And then I saw this guidance right here. It says you open bag 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 2C in order to get through the first phase. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I I ended up opening something like a third of the bags just to get through that first phase. And so my whole table was filled with partially open bags, and finding any parts was kind of a nightmare. It was just hunting and hunting and hunting to find a part. And you would find the same kind of part throughout multiple bags. So you were never sure if you had opened the right bag or not. And there was no eureka moment that you found the bag you needed, because you could have found just a different bag that was a decoy bag that looked like the one you needed and happened to have one decoy part in it. So it was kind of a mess. Those of you who built Tokmak, you'll recognize the bag type. It has those red numbers on them. And then look at all these leftover parts that I had. So it was pretty sloppy as far as the bagging goes for this particular set. Final thoughts on this particular set. I really enjoyed it. Once I got past the really messed up piece sorting, I enjoyed building it. The designer does seem to have been a great student of how Lego makes Star Wars ships, and so you can tell that they have done a lot of the similar techniques that you're familiar with if you love building Lego Star Wars, and I do. So they use many similar familiar techniques, a lot of grays, a lot of black, but it never felt boring. And because this particular ship is asymmetrical, I never felt like it was super repetitive. You were building everything pretty much only one time. The wings are mirrored from side to side, but the rest of the hull is not. For example, it's got this, I think this might be considered like a docking door, but it's only on one side. They don't have it on the other side. Or actually, maybe this is the escape pod. I'm sorry. So this might be the escape pod. So a lot of the things in here, or you only build it one time, so you can really, you don't really feel like anything is getting repetitive at all. And then because things are printed, that's really nice. It feels a little bit more premium, even more premium than what Lego might give you. They would do stickers for some of these things. The gribbling, beautiful. The landing gear, super nice. So, oh, and this is printed too. There are some versions I heard of this ship that don't have a printed canopy piece. So you do get a printed canopy piece here too. So that's really nice. If you want to get this set, it'll be a little bit harder to find because you can't just look up FONDOR or HAULCRAFT. So I will put a link in the description for where you can get this on Amazon US. And if you buy through there, that helps out the channel. It is an affiliate link, so I totally appreciate it if you do use that link. And I'll put up the price because I don't remember it offhand. Okay, so I hope you got to see everything you wanted to see. Like the video if you like it. Hit subscribe, do all those things. Thanks so much.